Here's Dolly.
What is up, YouTube? It is Dolly back in the house late night, almost 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. I went a little old school with the short intro. So many people, they're like, Dolly, your damn intro is too long. Okay, it's too long. I don't think it's really that long. It's 3.5 minutes. My intro with the music. And it gives everybody time to jump in the room so I don't have to repeat myself. That's the reason why it's, so long. It's to give everybody time to get in the room so I ain't got to say hello as each, by the time I come in, everybody's pretty much here. People are trickling in, but for the majority, the most people are here to hear what I say, because I think the beginning, the intro, is usually Dolly's best part. I pack it in with the goodies pretty fast in the beginning. So I like everybody here when I come in. Like, people are still joining the room now. So it gives, it leaves me all this time to have to build up, to wait to start to what I'm going to talk about. So tonight, there ain't really no build up to anything, because tonight is open discussion. That means we're going to talk about whatever true crime that you guys want to talk about. I am going to be talking a little bit about the P. Diddy stuff that's going on. There's a little bit of Nancy I do want to review, but then pretty much after that, it's just open discussion. If y'all want to talk Maddie Soto, we could talk Maddie Soto. If y'all want to talk, I don't care. Sebastian Rogers. What else did we talk about today? We talked about a ton of stuff earlier today. If you didn't watch today's show, I think it's at like 10,000 views now. Thank you for everybody that does, my replay crews and all that watch the videos. We talked about the Vizio girl that threw her baby in the trash. We talked about a little bit about Keffe D, which we're going to go over a little bit of that from Nancy Grace tonight. Tupac Shakur. I know most people here don't listen to damn Tupac Shakur, but I'm sure some of you may be familiar or a little bit of a fan of Tupac Shakur. And it's about justice, really. It's been a lot of years somebody being so iconic, as Tupac Shakur. The world wants answers. It's not just a United States, but on a global scale, people want answers. P. Diddy got to be a shot caller. I don't know really if it has anything to do with P. Diddy. I truly believe it was a fight, and if they hadn't gotten that fight at the MGM Grand, okay, Tupac Shakur stomping a guy, it's on video, I don't think he would have died that night. I think it was a retaliation, right, from Keffe D, his nephew, Baby Lane. And Baby Lane is deceased, okay? I know some of you people don't know these names, but these were all gang members. They were all gang members, and they were in Vegas that fateful night. California gangs, but just happened to be in Las Vegas for the Mike Tyson fight. And while they were at the Mike Tyson fight, somebody from another gang was wearing a chain that they had stole from one of the dog pound or something of that nature. I think they stole it from Nate, if I'm not mistaken. They caught one of them slipping, ran up on him, and they stole his chain. And the guy was wearing that chain at the MGM Grand. In the video, all you that remember it, of Tupac attacking the guy in the casino right before he died, that is what they were attacking this person over. This person was connected to Keffe D and Baby Lane. All right. So when they went back to the car, that's where the white Cadillac comes in that was seen coming up alongside of Tupac. All right. And the crazy thing about this, for you guys that don't know the story, is Tupac almost survived. He would have survived. They were about to give up on looking for Tupac. This is how I know it wasn't a hit. If you go back to Keffe D's early stories, because Keffe D, for anybody that don't know, before I became Dolly Vision, I was Jams TV. These are the type of things that I covered on Jams TV. And Keffe D had did an interview with Vlad TV. Okay. They say in the internet world, okay, and especially in the entertainment news world, that Vlad, anybody in here know Vlad TV? Press 1. Is a fed. Okay. You go on Vlad, your ass is going to jail. Now he interviews a lot of the big people in the rap world. He's interviewed mobsters. Everybody goes on Vlad because he pays, right? Nick Cannon, all kinds of people been up there on Vlad TV, but he pays for the interviews. It's a pretty big channel with millions of people that watch it. But so many people have went up on his channel and went to jail. Now you add Keffe D to the mix. He went up there and told all this stuff that he's saying now before this. So this ain't nothing new that he's saying. Well, the $1 million from P. Diddy is new. All right. That's pretty new. When he was originally telling this story, he didn't say P. Diddy offered $1 million, but he did say P. Diddy wanted him dead. Okay. Now that is, he did say that back in the day that P. Diddy wanted him dead. He just wasn't saying that P. Diddy was offering $1 million for Tupac's head. So they actually go, because Tupac was supposed to do this after party at this club. So they go to the club, and they're gonna get Tupac at the club. They didn't plan on shooting him in the drive-by like it went down. So as they go to the club, they're waiting in the club for Tupac, and he don't never show up. He's out on the strip hanging out, hollering at chicks. So they get frustrated and they decide to leave the club. As they're leaving the club, they see somebody hanging out of a car hollering at some girls, and it's Tupac. All right. So they go down the street, they turn around. This is according to Keffe D. Right? This is how I know Keffe D. This is one thing he threw in there that I knew he won't lie. There was a Southside Crip in the back seat of the car. Okay. Or Southside Blood. I don't know, Blood Crips. I don't know which one. Some damn Southside gang member in the back of the car. He hands the gun to that person and tells him to shoot Tupac Shakur as they ride up beside him. The person refuses. He won't do it. He's a gang member, but he will not shoot Tupac Shakur. Baby Lane is sitting in the back seat with him, Orlando, and he takes the gun from him and he shoots Tupac Shakur. Now, the crazy thing in the story is this. They go hide the gun. They found the gun buried in a gang member's backyard. Okay, I don't know if y'all seen all the documentaries on the Tupac stuff. But here's the thing. Baby Lane, which is the trigger puller that killed Tupac Shakur, but Keffe D did admit that he handed him the gun. So to me, he's accessory to murder. You hand a person a gun and go shoot that person, they do it. You're just as fault as your nephew is that pulled the trigger. So Orlando had a friend that I guess he fronted some drugs to in his gang. So he pulls up to a gas station one day, gets in a confrontation with this guy over drug money and their friends, and the man shoots and kills him and shoots Orlando's best friend. Orlando's best friend lives. All right. So he shares the story. He was on Vlad TV. Okay. He shares the story that, they pull up. It's a drug dispute over crack money and they get shot up and Orlando dies that day. So the person that killed Tupac Shakur is already deceased. Okay. Keffe D is just accessory to the murder. Now, why he's wanting to throw P. Diddy's name around, I don't know. But P. Diddy is a dirty ass person. From just everything that's coming out about P. Diddy, he is a dirty dude. You know what he needs? He needs some damn Dolly soap. Welcome to the wonderful world of Dolly's luxurious lather bars. Some of the best soap in the world. And it comes in some of your favorite scents. Why have ordinary when you can have extraordinary? It's like driving a brand new Lambo down the street instead of an 81 Buick. Made from all natural ingredients, no harsh chemicals, this soap will leave you as smooth as a pimp with a limp. Check it out now at buydollysoap.com. And also, you can save 10% when you use the promo code Wash Your Flaps. Boom! Smoother than a pimp with a limp. Now, you don't want to be as smooth as P. Diddy because lately he ain't been too smooth. Okay. He ain't been too smooth. He's being caught up in everything from missing people to hitman for hire. I mean, just all kind. Listen, usually when you're that rich and powerful, the only people that can bring you down is other rich and powerful people. What did P. Diddy, I hate to go conspiracy here, but what did he do to the Illuminati? Okay, that he's being blamed for everything. Usually powerful people don't go down like this. And it looks like P. Diddy's stock went just tanked like overnight. Like everything has just been coming out about this man. Now, I don't follow the day-to-day dealings with P. Diddy or anything like that. The only reason I'm bringing it up now is because it does sort of fall into true crime. And this is, you know, him being blamed for paying Keffe D or allegedly hiring him to kill Tupac Shakur. Now, I don't believe it. I want to put that out there. I do not believe that. Let me share this video. That Keffe D was paid by P. Diddy. Now, I ain't saying P. Diddy ain't never offered no money on Tupac Shakur's head, but I think this was a retaliation killing for the beating that happened at the MGM Grand. Now, I could be wrong, but I think that Keffe D, does he have a way to prove that P. Diddy had something to do with this? Puffy, damn Sean Combs, whatever you want to call this dude. He got 50 aliases, okay? But Nancy did a little video on it discussing it. We're going to play a little bit of that. And of course, we're going to go through some other things. But I just wanted to go over a little bit of this P. Diddy stuff.
Breaking news tonight. P did it.
P did it.
Diddy Combs order $1 million hit on Tupac Shakur. Bail documents say, oh, yes, he did. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
All right, let's skip our intro.
Tupac Shakur. Now, it's a very long, it's a circuitous explanation, but
like I gave y'all the quick rundown of what happened to Tupac, but if you want to get technical, there's a way longer explanation for what happened to Tupac Shakur. The big thing is this, is nobody cares about the killer of Biggie Smalls. Everybody's so worried about, listen, and I can be honest with you, I'm an East Coast guy. I've always liked Biggie a little bit better than I have Tupac. I always thought Tupac was good, right? I think he's a great poet, dude. I just think Biggie Smalls was more gangster, okay? Just straight, all his music was about robbing people and selling drugs. I like Biggie better, okay? Not a lot better. They were neck and neck. You couldn't really say Biggie Smalls without Tupac back in the day. They just kind of were like, neck and neck of who was the best rapper. It was the East Coast, West Coast war. I don't know how many people remember that. Where rappers from the East Coast were killing rappers from the West Coast, and they were just battling. It was kind of crazy. That's the whole era of real gangster rap music. Okay. I've always been a big fan of heavy metal, crazy heavy metal, and gangster rap. Okay. That's why y'all usually see me wear the Raiders cap, is because of NWA. Easy E wore the Raiders cap. Easy E is like my man. So that's why Dolly wears the Raiders cap all the time.
It boils down to, it's the East Coast, West Coast feud and allegations that he offered $1 million for the death of Tupac Shakur. Even making a phone call just after the hit, claiming, was that me? Like somebody else ordered a hit? Joining me an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now, but listen.
I ain't saying it's impossible that P. Diddy wanted him dead and would say that, but did he call him directly and tell Keffe D, hey, Keffe, I will give you this? Or did he say it just out in the open where certain people knew about it? Because I still think that was a retaliation shooting that took place with Tupac. And so many people still believe Tupac's alive. They can't accept the fact, because he did the Machiavelli album. about a person that faked their death. So everybody, and this is right before he dies. So, and then you got Biggie, he came out with Life After Death, right? They were predicting their future. They knew that the life they were living, you can't live that life long. There's only two outcomes to stuff like that: prison and the cemetery. And both of them dudes knew they wasn't going to prison. All right, they knew they were going to the cemetery. That's why they were rapping the way they were. They were rapping like their lives were going to come to an end, and they were right. Back to back, we had Tupac Shakur murdered, and we had Biggie Smalls executed. Right? They planned Biggie Smalls. That was plotted, planned, and a lot of people believe P. Diddy himself has something to do with the murder of Biggie Smalls. Now, some people believe it Suge Knight has something to do with the murder of Biggie Smalls. So, and then you got this. Remember when Suge Knight was coming out saying Tupac was alive? That he paid the coroner and he was living in like Costa Rica somewhere, Venezuela, right? And with his mama, because his mama was like a refugee. And no, she was like a Black Panther. And they had fled to like another country, and Tupac was there living his best life. Now, if Tupac is still alive, why this man on trial for the murder of Tupac? So for all them people out there that are still to this day making videos saying Tupac is alive, I hate to say it, Tupac died in that BMW that night. Okay, right there on the Las Vegas Strip. Sad as it is, they tried to save him, and he was a gangster dude. He was like, you know, he was like Trump. You know what I'm saying? Even when he was shot, right? Even when he was when he was shot by I'm trying to think of the dude's name. It ain't Cactus Jack. It's something like that though. He was shot in New York, and there's the famous picture of Tupac Shakur on the gurney after being shot, and he's flicking off the camera, right? Cuba. It was Cuba. Thank you. Okay. He moved to Cuba. His mama was a Black Panther. He's still alive. Yada, 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 yada. Everybody that loves Tupac, right? I hate to hurt people's feelings and be like, man, the dude is dead as can be. You know, he's bone dust at this point. He's so dead, right? And that's not being mean. It's just truthful. But some people, man, it's like Elvis. You know how people say Elvis ain't dead? Still to this day, them people are dead as can be. Damn, Elvis died on the toilet, right? With a bunch of pills in his system. Pac got shot. You know, people don't like to accept reality, but it is what it is. Nobody is indestructible, and nobody, and I mean nobody, lives forever, especially people that live this type of lifestyle.
Not looking good for Sean Diddy Combs. In addition to lawsuits, raids, federal investigation, and a secret grand jury, the only living suspect in Tupac Shakur's murder now implicates Puff Daddy in the September 7th, 1996 drive-by shooting. A recent court filing for Dwayne Keffe D. Davis' upcoming murder trial mentions Puffy 77 times. While Vegas police confirm that Combs has never been and is not a suspect, the mogul's silence is deafening.
Okay, you got to take into account that Keffe D wants bail and could be willing to say anything to get it.
Well, no, when Tupac died, P. Diddy didn't come out and say F him or nothing like that. P. Diddy said good things about it, just like if anybody else died. But that don't mean he didn't have parts in it. You know, he still could have had parts in it. I don't know what Keffe D is, you know, trying to blame, unless it did have something to do with it and he can prove it. But I don't think P. Diddy will ever be charged with the death of Tupac Shakur.
But here's the problem with that argument. This document has been buried away for a long time under wraps. It was a proffer. What is a proffer? A proffer is when you go outside the jury's presence, typically in the judge's chamber, sometimes close the courtroom, and you tell the judge what you're going to bring into evidence because you need a ruling whether it's admissible or inadmissible. Sometimes that proffer of evidence can be so volatile, if you put it in front of a jury before it's allowed, you have a mistrial. It can be that volatile, that inflammatory, and that.
So he's basically saying that's almost like admitting your guilt, though, and saying that I did it, but I was paid by puffy cones. Okay. But either way, you're still walking in the court saying you killed Tupac Shakur, and that don't look good. And here's the thing. He got out there, started bragging about the killing, right? He got out there bragging. Like I said, he was doing interviews. When he did the Vlad TV interview, he wasn't in jail. He was out there talking about, yeah, we shot him. Baby Lane, his nephew shot him. Dolly. Hello.
Give me a second, guys.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Who's this? Where you calling from? You got to turn me down in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You there? Hello?
Here. Thank you.
You're breaking up really bad.
Okay. Is this better?
Yes. All right. Who's this? Where you calling from?
This is Carrie from Seattle, Washington.
Hey, Carrie. Did you want
And
to touch in on this tonight?
I want to vote to kick bomb because I'm sick of hearing about her.
You want to kick bomb? Okay. For what reason? What reason you want to kick bomb?
I'm sick of hearing about her.
Okay. I will take your vote to kick bombshell. Reload it.
Thank you.
All right. Peace. She's on completely the wrong channel. That's Dolly Uncensored. She thought we were doing Dolly Turtle Island, which is my show on Dolly Uncensored. Hold on. I gotta pick up this lady for a minute. She is so late. She's watching another video that has the same number, and she's watching a replay of it, and she thinks it's live. Okay. So she's calling from my other channel because she's watching a replay, and she's trying to vote off bombshell. So if you don't know, we do this little game. We call it Turtle Island, where we put a bunch of imaginary people on the back of this imaginary Turtle Island, and we vote them off one by one until the best YouTuber is crowned the Turtle Island champion. So if you were wondering what, I was just picking with her because I knew what was going on. So that's why I went ahead and took her vote. The show has been over for like, an hour now. You know what I'm saying? But people do it all the time, even when I'm done here. Right. So I'll be like laying around about half asleep and the phone will ring, and it'll be somebody going, I think they took that baby to Memphis. It'll be something about, Summer Wells, about whatever I'm talking about. It could be anything, but people will think I'm live and I'm not live. And, every now and then if I hear the phone ring, I'll still answer it. So then I explain to people, I'm like, no, I'm not live. And they'll still be like, well, I wanted to talk to you about this. I've been wanting to talk to you. And then they'll talk to me for like 20 minutes. I'm trying to go to sleep. So I got to remember at night to turn the phone lines off, because people will do that literally all night long. Like I woke up the other day because the phone was ringing, and I was like, okay, they'll stop calling in a minute. Oh, hell no, they didn't stop calling. The same person called 8 times. Okay. And it rings for like 5 minutes at a time. So I was laying there and I didn't feel like getting up. And I was just thinking, if this damn thing rings one more time.
That's what this document is. Never meant to see the light of day. Where Sean Puffy Combs is named, we know of 77 times in the murder, the hit on Tupac Shakur.
Okay, phone lines are back open.
Well, it has. You know what? How did the whole thing start? Listen.
The East Coast West Coast rap feud begins with the near death of Tupac Shakur at Quad Records, Manhattan. Tupac's invited to record when he's attacked.
All right. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly. Oh, I'm so glad you opened these phone lines.
Okay, what is going on?
This is Rita from Dexter.
Hey,
okay.
Rita.
I was alive then and I'm alive now. I know this whole story.
Do you?
Now, there's a few, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. I listened to all their music. I was so mad. So, basically, years ago, it all started with Eazy-E. This is honest to God's truth. If you go look at there's a show called Compton. It's about Dre, Cube, Eazy-E. It's about how they started in the NWA.
Uh-huh.
Now, back then, remember, Vanilla Ice was big with Ice Ice Baby. All that was going on then.
Yeah.
Okay, Suge Knight worked as a security guard. He was just a security guard for somebody, and he went up to them, and he tried to get them to go on his life. And Eazy pretty much just laughed at him.
Yeah.
So basically what Suge Knight did was he got all his minions in a room, and he got Dre to call Eazy-E and say they needed to come in for a meeting. Now, Eazy-E went in for this meeting. Now, when Eazy-E got there, he got met by Suge Knight, as small as Eazy was, Suge Knight and all his bodyguards, and they worked him up good until he signed off his stuff to Suge Knight. That's how Suge got big. That's what started it all. Suge decided he was going to go hang up, and this isn't it. This is, you can look all of this up. This all happened. Suge hung up Vanilla Ice. He wanted rights to Ice Ice Baby.
Oh,
Hung him
yeah.
off of the balcony.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
I know all
Hung
about
him
that.
off of a balcony and took all of that from them too. And at the same time, Diddy was coming up, and he had his record label. Now, Diddy signed Biggie Smalls. So they were getting big. They were all big. And they didn't want, and now Biggie and Pac were friends at first.
Yeah, they were.
Now,
they toured together.
So they did not want, they were rival companies. You're talking about Bad Boy Records, and you're talking about Death Row Records. Now, Suge owned Death Row. Bad Boy belonged to the one guy.
Eazy-E had Ruthless Records.
Ruthless Records was Eazy-E, but he lost that because of all them. Now, unfortunately, so what happened was, Eazy-E was smart though. He made it to where he still got 20% of the earnings, but they were all mad about that, but oh well. But anyway, after all that happened, and they all went into their war, they started hiring security. Now, they had the Bloods and the Crips, and they had cops working for them too. This is all facts. This is all, you can look all of this up. Everything I'm telling you is true.
Yeah.
So basically, they were all fighting with each other. And at first, Pac and Biggie were friends. And yes, I know Eazy died of AIDS, but that was after all this happened.
Yeah.
Now,
they say he liked all the women.
They didn't
like the girls.
Yeah, because of what happened with the stuff. He was just too sick, and he
allegedly, they also say that Suge Knight injected him with the HIV or the AIDS virus. They say that too.
Yeah. I
don't know if that's true, but either way.
I don't know if that's true, but I'll tell you what I do know is true because I saw it with my own two eyes. So while they were all fighting and they got all of them in, okay, Tupac went up to not Tupac. Okay, so Biggie was in the studio with his friends and he was saying, Tupac went to the studio to go upstairs with Biggie and he got shot. This was the first time he got shot.
He got robbed.
He got shot down. Yeah, he got robbed in the elevator. He lived through that one.
Yeah,
okay, that's what started the fight.
What a lot of people don't know is like a lot of people think Biggie shot him, but it wasn't Biggie that shot him. It was was one of Mike Tyson's friends that shot him.
Yeah,
that Mike Tyson had
that
told.
Fight.
Yeah, Mike Tyson told Tupac not to be hanging out with this dude, and then that dude set up Tupac, and that's when they shot him in the elevator because he wouldn't give up the chain. But then after he was shot, Biggie and Little C's pulled him up into the studio. So many people thought Biggie tried to kill him, but it wasn't Biggie.
Biggie was trying to help him.
But after Tupac came out saying that he slept with Biggie's girl, Biggie came out with that song called "Who Shot You," where he insinuated that he shot Pac, but he never shot.
Yeah,
like he was just insinuating that.
Yeah, and they got into it. Now, all of this happened, and the first one that basically the shooting whenever Pac died, this is what happened. Diddy got scared because they all got their butts whipped. So he did, and I don't care what anybody says. I know Diddy did this. I knew it then. He was scared of all of them. He was scared of Suge. He was scared of every one of them. I know for a fact. I believe Keffe D. I know Keffe D's telling the truth. And yes, Keffe D was involved, and he needs to go to prison for the rest of his life. But I'm telling you, I know he's telling the truth because he gave him that money. Yes, he did. Greg Keating uncovered all of this.
I heard he got the money, but I didn't hear. I heard it was like he gave it to him as a gift for doing it. Like he didn't tell him to do it, but after he did it, he gave him.
Here you go. Here's something nice for you
Haitian
and
Jack.
your family.
That is the guy I was thinking of. Thank you so much. Haitian Jack is the friend of Mike Tyson's, right? Yeah. Mike Tyson had told Pac not to be hanging out with that dude. Haitian Jack is the one that set him up and to get robbed.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't Biggie, it was Haitian Jack. Thank you, whoever that was in the chat room.
So basically, what happened after all of that, when all that unfolded, The first one that got killed was unfortunately Pac. Now, and it was so sad when he got killed because Biggie went to the hospital to see him and he was already, and I mean, they didn't even let him see him. It was just so sad. Now, 6 months later, it was 4 or 6 months later, Biggie's out at the club, and that's when Biggie gets shot. Now, I'm going to tell everybody right now,
You know what?
P. Diddy didn't have Biggie shot.
You know, here's one thing that will throw a wrench in everything for P. Diddy. If Keffe D can prove that he gave him that $1 million, see, I heard he gave it to him just for, he did it. So here's you some money, right? But if he actually literally told him he would pay him that money and didn't pay him, then he hired a hitman. Yeah,
basically. Yeah. So basically what happened was Suge Knight was furious. That was his golden boy. You're talking about Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, that was his payday. That
ain't nobody you play with. You do not play with Suge Knight.
I don't know.
Okay,
in the end of all of it, everybody was knocking Suge Knight out. I mean, I watched a barber knock him out. I watched a rapper knock him out. Everybody was whipping Suge Knight's ass here, like right before he went to prison. And they tried to kill him. And they tried to kill him at the movie set. That's why he's in prison now for running that guy over in the truck.
Yeah, that all got way out of hand. So what happened was they were all fighting, and all these people were on these other labels. I know for a fact Suge Knight's the reason that Biggie's no longer with us. Vlad Wallace sued the police department because her son's murder was not followed or was not solved 10 years after. They put together a task force. Greg Keating ran that task force.
That was the hip-hop task force.
Yep. And he is the one that uncovered and solved Tupac's murder. But when he got when he got Keffe D to confess, it was the damage. He couldn't do anything because it was under some order. He had written something out. But when Keffe D decided, I'm going to go talk about this online, then they had an open thing to arrest him. Several years later, I think they should have arrested him then. It's bogus to me that these people, this 30 years ago, nobody went to jail. And I'm telling you now, I know for a fact what happened because I watched it all. They were also jealous of each other. Suge Knight went on the American Music Awards and said, I was sitting in my front room, I watched it. He said, if you want to have a producer that's not all up in your videos, taking over your videos, why don't you come on over to Death Row Records and leave? And then Diddy got up there and performed that night and tried to make light of it. But I'm telling you now, Diddy is one crooked person, and he needs to go to prison for the rest of his life.
I mean,
Suge went to prison. They all should be in there.
Did you hear about P. Diddy getting the nightclub dude shot at the door in Atlanta, which started the whole shit?
Okay. Oh, yeah. And
that's what originally started the big beef between everybody is P. Diddy got a dude shot a nightclub, the doorman at a nightclub.
That is what started it. But it all goes back to Ruthless Records. It all started there. The Suge Knight did what he did there, took over Vanilla Ice's music, and all that. And Suge Knight wanted control of the music world. And P. Diddy was not giving up that easily.
I met Vanilla Ice. He's a really nice dude.
He is. And what he went through is insane.
Well, I met him after his downfall when he was kind of in the I Ain't Nobody stage.
Yeah.
I met him then, but he was a really nice, humble, just decent dude, I sat and hung out with him for like a half hour, just me and him chopping it up.
The one on the screen is Tupac. Nikki was asking in the chat. That's Tupac Shakur. He was so amazing. This is back when we didn't have internet. When you couldn't go online and drop your music. These people had to go out and they had to actually make their music, and they had to go and perform to get their name out there. These men worked hard to get to where they were. Vlad Wallace sued the police department for $400 million because that's what her son was worth. She dropped the lawsuit after they found out and investigated and found out who killed him. And it was a cop that killed him.
The thing about this is everything was in P. Diddy's name or in Suge Knight's name. They didn't have shit when they died. Biggie or Tupac.
They lost it all. They lost, and I don't know why you would want to. They were just great. Those guys were great. They would give this community. It was insane. They were good people. They were not. These were not bad young boys. We used to watch them. I mean, and I'm telling you now, and I wasn't even into rap music, and I watched them. I listened to heavy metal music. I was a Skid Row nerd.
I did the same thing. I listened to metal, and I also listened to gangster rap. It was like
Yeah.
was just what I grew up on.
I like Two Live Crew.
It was
I listen to stuff like
Uncle
that.
Luke. Yeah, I mean, so that was what was that? The 90s, late 80s, 90s. That was the whole era, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff is just iconic at this day and age. 30 years ago.
Yeah, I was a teenager.
It don't
I think
seem that long ago to me that Tupac was killed.
No.
Damn, I'm getting old.
That's what I'm saying. I'm 49 this year. And I'm telling you, I went through all of this. I just celebrated my 49th birthday. I made it to this long. I can't believe I'm even still here. I told my kids, I said, on my 50th birthday, we're going to have a bash. I might be 49 years old, but I promise you, with the life I've lived and the things I've seen in my life and the things that have happened to me in my life and the things I've been around, I've lived 69 to 70 years.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe I'm 49 and I've made it this long. And that's honest to God's truth. Yeah. I know all of these guys. I watched all of this. I'm telling you, it was a sad thing to unfold, to lose these great artists. And music today is not what it was when we grew up. We lost all that great music.
You can have no talent and make it in today's music.
Oh, tell Brooke I'm not angry. I just love my music and I love my people and I love true crime. But whenever, it comes to these guys, I just think it's a shame. Their mothers lost their sons. I have 4 sons. I'm telling you, I have 6 kids. I have 4 sons and 2 daughters. I couldn't imagine losing one of my children. Yeah. And what Tupac's mother went through and Biggie's mother went through, the saddest thing on earth.
Yeah. Hey, look.
And I'll tell you, I know we're out of time, but before we go, I just want to say that one thing. What P. Diddy did when he made that song was dirty, because he knew he was behind it all. Every breath you take that he made with his wife,
Evans,
it was terrible.
Yeah.
But just wanted to call in about what all I know about the case. And you can look it up, the cops and all of it.
All right.
Good to talk to you, Dolly. I'm going to keep watching.
All right. Peace.
All right. Bye, hon.
Dolly,
Richard from Texas.
What up, Richard?
Hey, is it true crime or is it hip hop?
It's hip hop true crime tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, I heard it all now on Dolly Vision. You got to run for president, man. You got it all going.
Yeah, I guess, But, justice is justice. It don't matter who you are, every life is just
he's going to go down, but he's going to go down for what, that sex trafficking and all that. I don't think all that old stuff will be brought up. I don't.
Oh, he's not going down for the death of Tupac Shakur, but he may have something to do with it. It's possible.
He probably did. Anybody going to steal his limelight, but I don't see it making a difference now after how long ago was that? 15 years ago, I think.
30 years ago? I don't know. A long time. Even the people that said he was going to come back, they ain't even saying that no more. It's way past his comeback time.
I thought I was in high school when that happened. Maybe it has been longer.
What was it? It was how long was he supposed to go missing? I can't remember, but it was supposed to be a certain amount of years, and then he was supposed to resurface, and then he never resurfaced.
I'm sure he had something to do with it. He probably has had a lot to do with a lot of things that have happened, but probably not just that one. Probably, all the other ones too, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, he lived a life that was crazy, and when you live that life, he knew he wasn't going to live that long.
But evidently, P. Diddy's always been a bad guy.
I mean, you don't rap about dying unless you think you're going to die.
Oh, yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, but the whole thing is why don't you rap about something that ain't going to kill you,
Because he didn't live that life. He lived that scandalous money life, and that money's not that important. If I wouldn't want that much money if it's going to lead to me getting killed.
No, but what was the other rapper that got shot too? Was it
Biggie Smalls?
9 times or something? 50 Cent or something like
50 Cent. Oh yeah, that guy. I don't know nothing about too much.
That dude lived from 9 bullet holes.
Yeah, but it don't take but one bullet to kill you if it hits you right.
No, that's what I'm saying. He got shot 9 times and lived, and Tupac got shot 2 times?
Well, yeah, 2 different times. The first time he shot himself is what people say.
No, I'm saying the last time didn't he get shot with 2 bullets?
Well, I don't know how many bullets hit him in the car, but I know the first time he got shot, people say he shot himself.
What an idiot!
That's what they say. That is the rumor that he pulled the gun, and when he did, he shot himself.
Oh, like an accidental shooting.
Yeah, when the guys tried to rob him, he pulled his gun, and shot himself. And then the guy busted him upside the head with the gun while he was laying on the elevator floor. And his security, the dude that was with him, actually reached over and grabbed Pac's chain off his neck and gave it to the guy.
Oh wow! What a
So that's
shame.
what they say, but they say Pac was shot. You know, he made in the picture, but in that really he shot himself.
Yeah, of course they're not gonna make it look like he shot himself. You know.
Well, that's what the people that were with him said, that he shot himself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh well, hell.
Yeah, they didn't even shoot him. The robber didn't shoot him. Or I think the robber. No, I think he did get shot twice. I think the first one, I can't remember. I think he shot himself, and then the robber may have shot him.
Yeah, but if you don't need no gun if you're gonna shoot your damn self.
Yeah, I know.
That's a little bit like maybe you should have went to a class or something.
He either got shot once or twice in the elevator. I know one of them allegedly he shot himself.
Yeah, I thought Snoop Dogg always said that what's his name was behind it from the get go.
Snoop Dogg rolled up on a dude and shot him in cold blood. And got away with it. Murder was the case that they gave me. Remember that?
Snoop Dogg slipped or something one time or at some party thing or something and said that P. Diddy had paid for the hit or something.
I don't know.
And I think that's how all that documents really started, like with his name on it, like so many times. It's because of Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube, I think, are the ones that said that they had heard that's what happened or something. I don't know. I didn't really listen to a lot of hip hop growing up. I really didn't. I was more of a country music, I guess, kid, you can say.
I couldn't stand. I can deal with country music now. I used to not be able to stand country music when I was young. It was the worst music in the world to me.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm riding horses my whole life, so that's.
I like country music now. I couldn't stand it as a kid.
Yeah, and see, it was. I did listen to a lot of like older music, like the Beach Boys and all that, though, because that's what my grandpa do. So that's what I always.
Even to this day, I can't tell you too much about country singers unless they're like iconic ones, you know,
like George Strait, the ones you know, like Garth Brooks.
I know Garth Brooks. I don't know. I know who. I've heard the name and I probably heard his songs, but I don't know who it is. Like if he walked past me, I wouldn't know it was him.
George Strait lives down here in Laredo, a little bit, couple hours from me, and he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, I don't know too much about country, to be dead honest. I listen to it on the radio, but I don't know who none of the people are. I mean, I hear their names, but I don't know who they are.
For heavy metal, right? Like Metallica and
yeah, stuff like that. Megadeth, like Metallica, right? Anthrax, Slayer. You know,
you went to the crazy
Hatebreed. Yeah, I like the crazy stuff.
So that was like jumping in the pit.
I liked it. That's the reason I liked extreme metal and I liked extreme rap, gangster rap. I like the heaviest of the heavy, the craziest of the crazy.
And so that's kind of what your daughter's into now, right?
Yeah, she listens to stuff way tougher than I even used to listen to. So yeah, she's the same way. Damn. But then again, she listens to tough music and then she'll listen to like K-pop, like these little Korean pop bands.
Oh yeah.
So she's like into pop music and extreme metal, I would say, and like punk. She got a wide variety of music she listens to. She tortures me with it every time I get in the car with her.
It's so weird how the new generations, like, you know, my daughter's 20 and my oldest is 20, and she listens to rap music now. But like the old school stuff that was like Snoop Dogg and Dre and all that Eazy-E, that's like she loves all that now.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's so weird how that's coming back. Like she wears the Eazy-E shirts and it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's just iconic. It's like that retro throwback shit.
Yeah, so, it is a lot of crazy. Like that's all kind of coming back. But my daughter also dresses like the 70s.
Oh,
too. Like she wears the bell-bottom jeans and it's pretty weird. Like, but I mean, she loves it, and that's kind of I think the fad going on right now is the bigger jeans and the holes in them and all that crazy stuff.
Well, whatever makes kids happy, man, let them be happy, I guess.
I hear you. That's what I say.
They're the ones when they look back, they got to look at the silly ass outfits they wore. I do the same thing. I look back at some of the clothes I wore when I was young, and I'm like, what the hell was I doing wearing that?
Like the Jabot jeans and stuff, and the caper shoes where you could change the tabs. You remember that?
I had some Nike
pump. The pump.
Yeah, the pumps, right?
Yeah,
And they look like
I
moon
did too.
boots. Look, they look like moon. They literally look like moon boots. I used to walk
Dude, they
around
were like
school.
huge. They're like
Yeah, the
20
big,
pounds.
right? So I had these big ass shoes, and they were so big they came in a briefcase, right? You remember
Yeah,
the
I had the
briefcase with the
green
pump?
and white ones with the big pump. You know, you could pump it up and be cool. You know?
Yeah, it was like a big pump that you kept in your pocket, and you put it in the
Yeah,
back of the
I
shoe, and
know.
you had to squeeze it. So these things
And
look
I wore
like,
the capers where you could change the little triangles out on the side, like the color. Would you change
oh, them
it
were
to, like, blue or
Converse.
green?
Yeah, the
Converse,
Converse
yeah.
you could change the colors of. But
Yeah,
I
you
remember I
snap
had the
them off
Nike
and-
boots, and
Yep.
them things are the ugliest damn shoes ever on the
know.
planet, and they're big as hell. I used to wear them damn things to school thinking I was cool as hell.
And just think about it nowadays. Like, that's so weird, right? To look at that kind. Like, if we'd have saved those things when we were young, like now they're so expensive. Like, my daughter took a box of my old shirts from all my old concerts I used to go to when I was a kid, and then like Bon Jovi and all them. I had all their tour shirts. Like, she made so much money off of like 20 T-shirts. Like, it was unreal the thousands of dollars people pay for those shirts now.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
throwback.
Like, Bon Jovi
People
shirt,
are
like
big.
$800.
People are big
Huh?
on things from the 80s and 90s, right?
I know, but it's weird. Hey, why pay that much for a shirt?
I mean, it's
I don't know.
nostalgia. People, you know, the glory days. Everybody likes that moment in time when
Yeah.
your life was absolutely the best, when you was rocking it nonstop, you know. Then eventually you
It
get
didn't
old.
have the crime. The crime wasn't really out there like it is now. You had a few serial killers back when we were young, but it wasn't really talked about, and there was no like the mate. Like now, it's just like it's so bad right now.
Well, because the
Crazy.
world is smaller because of the internet. Everything's connected. You know, we're all together. We have ways to access so much more stuff.
We hear more now than
We
heard.
hear it more. That's exactly what it is. I think it's
No more
always
milk cartons.
existed. People have been evil
No more
since the
milk
beginning of time.
You remember everything used to be on milk cartons? You remember that? That's crazy, right? To think about.
Yeah, I ain't even seen a milk carton in a long ass time, to be
No, but like
honest.
people were missing when we were kids. Like the milk carton would tell you who was missing.
I know. I
It was
believe
so
I believe they should do that on cereal boxes right now because everybody eats
I think
cereal.
they should. I agree, 100%.
So, I mean, that's up to the cereal companies though, but I think the more you put people out there, the more people see it, the more recognition, the more it's in the media, the better chances it are of getting solved.
Yeah. So Karen Reed's going to get 10 years this time, or 20? What do you think?
I don't know.
We got a vote going on. Everybody's saying 10 or 15 right now.
I mean, I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be there next year. I guess it's going to go off in January, and I'll be there to support her family, Paul O'Keefe and
Dude, the
his
blue is
mama.
going to outweigh the pink. The blue is going to outweigh the pink. I have a feeling.
I know. I seen people bassing the pizza shop tonight, and I was just like, well, we're gonna do something to help that pizza shop out a little bit there.
Dude, I know, and I'm telling you, I think the blue's going to overcome this time. I think now that they realize that there's a chance that she could walk, I think they're really going to step.
Well,
up.
I think when people look out there and see everybody just wearing pink, it makes them think she's innocent. Now that when they look out there and they see pink and blue, they're going to have to come to their own decision. You know, they ain't going to be swayed by one side. So that's why Paul O'Keefe, he's realized that, and he's been asking for support. And when I heard him asked, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in my blue. And, you know, I believe the woman did this. I know a lot of people in here don't think that, right? They think she's innocent. And that's fine. We just have a difference in opinion. But I'm going to be there myself to support the family for sure.
Yeah. And it's all about the family right now. But this poor cop died.
Even if she did it or she didn't, they're up there. They're up there booing the family and stuff. It's horrible. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, but the proof was clearly there.
I think so too. It just wasn't presented well. The Lally dude is an idiot. He's a
solo cups made a big difference.
I mean, the dude is a idiot. So I mean, if they had somebody better prosecuting her, shit, they could have let me do it. They should have let me do it. She'd have been in prison in 30 minutes.
Yeah, but she's not going to have that lawyer this time. He ain't coming back.
Yeah, I know she has a new lawyer that represented Epstein.
Yeah, but Jackson ain't coming back. She ain't gonna win without Jackson. I can tell you right now.
And you know, Jackson's wife's mad at him because of that whole he was filling up Karen Reed picture.
Dude, well, he should have been holding her boob. I mean, come on, dude.
I mean, he had a handful of titty. I mean, there ain't no doubt. You know what I'm saying? I tried to tell everybody came in here in that room that night and said that the picture was fake, that wasn't Karen Reed,
Oh,
that wasn't
hell
Alan
no, it
Jackson.
Hey,
Everybody, I had people actually unsub the channel saying I was putting out misinformation and that wasn't them. I was thinking, y'all are crazy. It is them. Then, by the next day, everybody was reporting it. And nobody came back and apologized to me.
No, but look at the TV on the bar. It's showing the news that was going on that night.
Yeah.
Like, people didn't realize that. That's what my wife called. She's like, look, the TV's not going to lie.
Yeah. And I mean, that ain't something a lawyer and a client, they don't mean. I've had plenty of lawyers. Ain't none of them grab my titty.
Oh, no. Hell no.
And I had women lawyers, multiple times.
Yeah.
They never grabbed my titty.
Yeah, women lawyers, you didn't even have to
I've had a
them.
few dude lawyers. None of them grabbed my titty either. Right. I'm feeling like I'm not getting the same treatment from my lawyers as she's getting.
Well, because you ain't giving it to them.
I ain't paying them $250,000. That's what it is.
You ain't giving it to them for $100,000.
I think $250,000. It might come with some hands on you. You know what I'm saying? That's the special, right? She had to pay that last payment. I don't know.
Hey, I wonder if they shared a room the whole time. That's what I'm wondering.
I just think she was a little short on the payment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So he said, you stay at my room 3 nights a week and we'll take care of that payment.
Yeah, something went on. Something was
Daddy
going
ain't
on.
got to get that second mortgage.
I don't know. I think he got the second mortgage and some titty.
Yeah, it was $400,000. That's what Jackson made off of it.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. But how much is your freedom worth? Think about it. If you
he
had it,
can't
wouldn't
do
you spend
twice.
it? Look,
The dad needed this one to go his way. He knew he could. He can't mortgage his house again. He's done.
Yeah, but we don't know his finances. That dude could be worth $30 million.
Oh no, he said. What did he say? Like, I cannot get a second mortgage.
Yeah, but she also raised on her fund over $400,000.
Well, what did the other lawyer charge her? Because Jackson charged her $400,000. So what did the other?
I heard it was $250,000. I heard it was $250,000. I thought that included both of them.
She had to put up $200,000 bail, right?
80. I think it was 80,000 bail or somewhere around there. And she was asking for that back so she could pay it to her lawyers.
Okay. Well, yeah, but you ain't getting that back.
Yeah, she ain't getting none of that back. That's shit. He's spending that on his wife and Kylie now. Okay.
She damn sure get it back after the next trial.
And then after all the heat he got, his wife ain't letting him go back. But then again, he's been married 5-6 times. He might be married to Karen Reed next week.
I'm surprised. Exactly. I'm surprised that wife ain't took him to the cleaners already.
I just know this. I bet you he wouldn't stand behind a car with Karen Reed driving.
Damn, none of them would.
So
even Turtle Boy wouldn't stand behind her.
I know. I wouldn't stand behind her. Hell to the night. I won't stand in front of the car. I'd get away from her car. I'd back up at least 20, 30 feet.
Even if she had nothing to drink, even if she just drank the Kool-Aid,
yeah,
stand behind her.
Yeah. And then this whole thing, she didn't show not one tear for John O'Keefe. Not one.
No, that's why you knew she was guilty. She hit him on purpose. I'm sorry.
She
hit that dude on purpose.
I don't know if she did it on purpose. I don't know if she did it. I don't know if she did it on purpose. Really, I ain't gonna put that on her. But she was drunk, and I believe she hit him for sure.
How fast do you back up when you back up?
Not at 24 miles an hour. I ain't never backed up that fast.
Exactly. So if you're punching the gas pedal, which is what she had to do in the Lexus, my wife has the same exact car, but a little bit newer than hers, and I'm telling you, there's no way that she did not hear the beeps in that camera before she even hit him.
Yeah,
because it goes out 15 feet on each.
She may have heard it, but she was drunk as a skunk. I don't know how.
It don't matter.
I don't know how drunk skunks be getting, but I heard a lot of people say that drunk as a skunk.
She lined him up in the camera. Come on.
She lined him up in the camera. Damn.
Damn. So hot, dude.
It was snow on the lens. It was snowing that night.
Oh,
but according to them, according to the her supporters, it was just a light, no hardly any snow.
Yeah, 24 mile an hour. I'm backing up 24 mile an hour drunk. Yeah, 9 vodka
in the snow,
going backwards.
Yeah, 24 miles an hour drunk in the snow. Okay.
You ain't gonna punch it and reverse that drunk unless you got a mission.
Unless you got them. All right, man.
I'm not stupid.
We out of time. It was good talking to you, Richard.
Bro.
You be good.
Good talking to you, man. You be good, bro.
All right, peace. All right, so Tupac Shakur, Keffe D. It turned into a long thing, but we've been jumping around a little bit. The Karen Reed situation with John O'Keefe. I mean, like I said, it's open discussion tonight. So whatever you guys want to talk about as we go through this video, and I just want to play a few more minutes of it.
attacked by 3 armed men and shot 5 times, but lives. Vibe magazine says that Sean Puffy Combs and Notorious B.I.G. were both at the studio and may have known Shakur was being set up.
Tupac's belief Puffy and Big knew about the Quad Records attack adds to the feud between Combs' East Coast Bad Boy Records and Suge Knight's West Coast Death Row Records. It escalates when Tupac Shakur, Suge Knight, and Mob Piru associates run into
Davis. The younger nephew
What did I
is
do?
Orlando.
To occur at a local nightclub. At the same time, word had spread amongst members of the Southside Compton Crips of what had occurred inside the MGM. That's when Dwayne Davis began to devise a plan to obtain a firearm and retaliate against Suge Knight and Mr. Shakur for what occurred inside the hotel against Mr. Anderson.
So Robert Crispin joining us formally with the Federal Task Force for the U.S. DOJ, now at Crispin Special Investigations. You're telling me, see, I don't buy this for 1 minute, that the whole hit on Tupac Shakur was over a fight at the MGM elevator bank the night of the Tyson fight? It's a lot deeper than that.
It is. It is. It goes back to a robbery that took place on a chain. Okay. They attacked the guy in the lobby because he had stolen a chain from, I believe it was Nate Dogg, one of the dogs. Okay. And he had caught him somewhere slacking, lacking, and they took his chain. And back then, that whole chain thing is like a symbol of like your crew. And somebody had seen him at the MGM Grand, you know, ass. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly. It's
AKA
Annie.
Diddy.
Hey. Who's
Hello?
this? Hey, who's this? Where you calling from?
Annie. You
Annie?
know who I am.
Okay, hey,
I'm a
Annie.
cousin.
What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. I was so disappointed. You got rid of your intro.
No, I didn't get rid of it. I still got it. What do you want me to
you
play
still
it
do?
so you can watch it?
Oh, good, good. Because you know what? I use that for when I go driving.
Uh-huh.
I have it for like a I don't know how to say it, like a song. I don't know. Anyways, I listen to it while I'm
Okay.
driving.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I also listen to like Halloween, like the intro, and I also listen to like Saw. You know.
Oh,
Saw.
so you like movie soundtracks.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I'm like, dang it, he got rid of it, and I'm like, I like that. So, anyways, okay, this is open discussion, right?
Yes. Anything you want to talk about?
Awesome. All right, did you get an update on that PlayStation girl, like the one that was locked in the car, and the father was on PlayStation? Did you get an update?
No. I mean, she
Dang it.
deceased.
Okay. All right, yeah, because I wanted to see what was going on with that case. All right, well, that's fine then. All right, Sebastian Rogers, obviously there's nothing.
Nothing new anyway.
Yeah, nothing new.
Ain't even been a whole lot of drama.
I don't know. Bullhorn Betty's out there.
Oh, that don't count. That don't even count.
That don't count. Yeah, that is true, yeah. Let me think. All right, Brian Kohlberger, you already discussed today.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot in that case. Like, there's things that need to be answered, I think. I'm going to be covering that one live, so I will be out in Idaho for that one.
Yeah, that'll be really awesome. And then Karen Reed, she'll be in October, right?
Well, I think she has a court date coming up. No, she has a court date, but I think it's just a motion hearing. And then her court is set for, I think, January 27th.
Oh, okay.
So we got a while before Karen Reed goes back to court.
Now they're going to pick a whole new jury, right?
Yes.
No,
absolutely.
It's so weird because, okay, I know that, like, they're going to have a new trial and everything, but isn't the jury tainted? I mean, because of all the information that's already been out? Like, are they going to have to, I don't know, produce new evidence?
It took days to pick the jury in the first one. I honestly think they should move it.
Yeah, Yeah, because that's just, it doesn't seem right
to a
me.
place
I
where,
don't know.
you know, it didn't get much coverage, you know. But you got YouTubers, and you got to remember, you got a big enough channel, it spans across the country. So it's, who hasn't heard of it? I mean, I'm sure there's
Right.
people out there that are not into true crime, but if you're into true crime, of course, you've heard of these cases.
Well, I'm into true crime, like, big. But I haven't heard much. I mean, I don't really know much about Diddy. I mean, I haven't really followed his case. I'm more of a heavy metal. I love Korn,
Yeah.
Slipknot,
Yeah, I
all
got
that
you.
kind of stuff.
Mudvayne, what else? Limp
Yeah,
Bizkit.
Mudvayne. Yeah, I love it.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
I
into
just
all that
seen
kind of
something
stuff.
today that Corey Feldman is going on tour with Limp Bizkit.
Oh, really?
They're calling the tour Loserville or something like that.
Oh, no, I didn't hear about that. I have to look it up.
And he is the worst musician, I think, ever. Like, ever. Like, I don't even know if he, like, I thought he was kidding at first. Like, his shit is that horrible.
Right.
You know, because I used to follow his stuff since, you know, what was it? The vampire movie. And License to Drive and all them, you know, iconic movies from my time. He was in all those movies. Goonies. And, you know, so now to see him as an old man and him trying to be in a band and like just being so horrible at it.
Doesn't work.
You know what I'm saying?
Work.
I don't know. It's like watching a train wreck. I just couldn't help it. I had to watch him. Every time he comes on, I watch it. I don't know why. It's just, I guess, what Lost Boys. Thank you, guys.
Well, he'd be on the Dolly train. He'd be crashing it, right?
I don't know. It's just like I went over his stuff when he came out with that movie on my other channel, and a lot of the callers that were calling in were his friends. I talked to all his bandmates, the Angels, right? I know he was watching at one point my channel. He is a unique individual. He is definitely a unique dude. He's like the Wish version of Charlie Sheen to me.
Well, I don't know. Isn't he retirement age now?
Yeah, but he you know, he ain't got much money because I guess all that movie money dried up. And,
well, then he's got to make a YouTube channel.
and plus,
like
Corey,
Seth,
you know,
right?
Corey Haim, he passed away, and you know, kind of they lost that duo. So I don't know. I think he's doing it now for money because he needs money. But it is, you know, when he was a kid, he liked Michael Jackson. Now he's starting to dress like Michael Jackson, trying to look like Michael Jackson and shit. It is so weird and bizarre.
I don't know. I haven't really kept track of him. I have to look him up and like
the Corey,
see what he's up to nowadays. I don't know.
Yeah, I tap in on it every now and then. That's why it crossed my mind, is because I was watching something on the day of him playing guitar. I might have to pull that up, but it was the weirdest, craziest stuff. Yes.
Oh my God.
But hey, look, I appreciate you calling.
You know, it's just like how, you know, Korn, you know, they lost their what was it, the guitarist?
Head.
Monkey,
Yeah,
right?
they lost
Remember
Head.
they lost him and he went to go find Jesus or
That
something?
was
And
Head.
they're like, what?
That was Head.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
Monkey.
Head. Okay.
Yeah, it was
I thought
Head.
It was Monkey. I'm sorry.
Because he wrote a book. Head, one of the best books I ever read, right? Was by Head, and it's called Save Me From Myself. So if you ever get a chance to read that book, it is so good. Okay?
I will definitely look it up.
And it's written by the guitarist of Korn, Head, while he was going through his religious journey trying to get off of methamphetamines.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
It is such a good book. He wrote 2 books, but one of them is more like a picture short story book. And the first one is Save Me From Myself. And that book is phenomenal.
Nice. Do you like to read, Dolly?
I mean, if I'm stuck somewhere, you know, and I ain't got nothing to do, and I could see when I read that book. I don't see as good now.
We got your glasses, right? I don't know. I like to read. I like to read mystery. I like to read horror.
But when I was young, I would sit there and read big ass books on serial killers, things like that. And then I went through years where I didn't read. But if it's something good, I'll read it. Yeah.
Hey, Actually, that kind of reminds me. I was going to talk to you about that. I know that in your last video, you said that you don't feel or you don't believe that babies are born like a serial killer.
Yeah, I don't believe you're born evil.
Yeah, you don't believe they're born evil. Okay, so how about this? Like, I mean, I'm not here to change your opinion or anything, but like, there's mental illness that can come in, like, you know, the age of adolescence. Usually, that's usually when it comes. So, I mean, do you think that they could possibly be born with it? I mean, because they have that mental illness?
I mean, you can be born with a mental illness. A mental illness is not evil.
Right, but it can become evil. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how.
Well, I think evil is when you know your actions of what you're doing is bad and you do it anyway. That is evil.
So you don't think that serial killers have a mental illness?
No, I think they're evil.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because
So
usually most serial killers are above average intelligence.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, in a psychiatrist's world, that would be considered, you know, psychotic. You know what I mean? Like, how do I explain it?
Hannibal, look how smart Hannibal Lecter was. You know, I mean, he ain't a real person, but I'm just using him as an example. Ted Bundy was fairly smart.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a line between, like, how do I say it? I can't think of it now.
But I think it takes a lot of illnesses to be a serial killer. I just think that if your consciousness of your actions and you're doing it, you know it, you're evil.
Right. I mean, I always thought that, you know, like, evil spirits can come in.
Ted Bundy wasn't a lawyer. He was in law school. I don't think he ever passed the bar to become a lawyer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not positive, but I think that's the case.
Yeah, Ted Bundy. His eyes. Oh, my gosh. He's crazy.
Yeah. The Ted Bundy eyes. I mean, sometimes you can't even hide the evil. You can see it. And I've seen it.
Yeah, you can see it, especially with Eileen Warren.
Yeah, yes, that is a crazy ass woman there, right?
Yeah, she's really crazy.
So,
I can't believe her.
She said that she was has a metal filling in her tooth, and they keep hitting her with radio signals that caused her to kill people, and the FBI were watching her so she could clean up the streets.
Gosh.
That lady was batshit right there.
Didn't she say that, like, bombs were going to come and, like, get us in 2021?
She was pure T nuts, right?
Yeah,
she was certifiable crazy as hell. But do I blame mental illness? That's a little bit of both evil and mental illness.
Yeah.
You know, she was an evil lady that had mental illness.
Right.
So yeah, something was bad shit with her. I don't think she was possessed by the devil. I think the devil had more sense than she did. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, this lady's fucking nuts.
I don't know. I mean, she's just, yeah.
She
really
believed every government conspiracy in the world. I mean, she was just a walking, recite some conspiracy. They've been microwaving my brain for 20 years and all kinds of weird shit she said, you know, so.
I know. And another thing, like, Ed Gein, didn't he, like, wear, like, skins for masks?
Ed Gein is what every horror movie is based off of. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based off Ed Gein. Norman Bates is based off Ed Gein. And basically, Ed Gein, he wasn't even really a serial killer. He was a grave robber. He would go to the graves and dig up dead people and bring them back to the house. He ended up killing this lady that worked at like a convenience store back in the day, or a gas station. And that lady was kin to the sheriff. And then they went into the house and they discovered that he had dug up his mama. This is trigger warning, guys. He inserted a tube in her so he could have sex with her.
Oh.
Okay. And he was making like furniture and stuff out of human parts. And then when they went out there, he had gutted this lady like an animal. But he didn't kill a bunch of people. He just, when they went in there, they found like all these bodies because he had been dragging them home from different cemeteries that he was going and grave robbing.
So they were basically already dead.
They were already dead.
Yeah.
But he was like living in a house full of dead ass bodies, and the whole thing with his mama. That's why Norman Bates, the story of Norman Bates with his mama, that's what that's based off of. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based off of it because of the bones and the human parts. That's kind of how Texas Chainsaw, well, they put you in the chili in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So many people think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre really happened. That never happened. It says right in the beginning, based on a true story, but it's based on the story of Ed Gein.
Mm-hmm.
And Ed Gein didn't have a chainsaw running down the damn road, so it never happened.
I don't know. Ed Gein, he really fascinates me. I mean, didn't they take his brain and like try to examine it?
I'm not for sure if they studied his brain. I know certain serial killers took their brain and sliced it open trying to study their brain.
Yeah. I don't know if he was one of them, but like he really fascinates me because of the way he acted and done what he did. And then it's like Ed Gein and Jeffrey Dahmer is another one that really fascinates me too. You know, with serial killers, to me, I almost feel like addiction is part of like the serial killing, because like once they do it, they feel like they have to do it again and again. You know what I mean? Like an addiction.
Maybe.
Yeah, like I almost feel like it has like some sort of, I don't know, like you know when you have an addiction, I don't know, you probably don't know because you never really went down that road. But
well, cigarettes.
Like,
I used to smoke cigarettes. I haven't smoked a cigarette in 3 years, but same thing. It's an addiction. I couldn't stop smoking.
Kind of. But I mean, I never really went on drugs or anything either. But I know people that have, and like they get this really, really high feeling to the point where they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing! I feel so good." And you know, like when somebody is a serial killer, I feel like when they kill, they get this high feeling like, oh my gosh, this is like the best. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to find out. You know what I mean? And like they get in this like euphoria, whatever. I
couldn't see how people get pleasure out of hurting people. I just don't.
I don't see it either, but some people, they just get this, like, I don't know if it's kind of like the same thing as like if you steal something, like you get
the
this,
excitement
like, really,
of it.
Yeah, like the excitement, like this horror.
Yeah, but
like
you can start
high.
like jumping off cliffs and shit to get that, to do that. You ain't got to hurt people.
Yeah, you can do that too.
If you want to rush,
exactly.
go jump out of an airplane,
I know, but some people like it where they're like, oh, this is like taboo. You know what I mean?
I mean,
maybe I'm crazy.
It's sick, is what it is, and I believe people start off normal, and we're all sponges, and we're just products of our environment, and we take in what's around us. And if you take in enough bad, you might become a monster.
That is true. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just try to understand people. I haven't really lived through any of that, but I just try to like empathize and try to understand what the heck they are going through. Like I can try to like bring in their energy and try to like think, feel whatever, but I don't know. I mean, that's just me, but I always want to try to understand what the heck is going on with people. So
yeah, well, look, we all the time. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Dolly. Have a good night. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, you be good. Peace.
All right, you too. Bye.
Yeah, serial killers, man. That's one of the real things that got me into true crime, even as a kid when I was reading those books. And I read books on everybody back in the day. It was just my thing. I didn't have regular TV. Like I had regular TV. I didn't have cable in my room. So at night I would sit there and read books. So when I was young, I read a ton of books. I don't read shit now. Okay. I can hardly see. But when I was young, I used to enjoy it. And I had a teacher that would give me books on serial killers, and he was just like, if you don't read much, try to find stuff you enjoy. Right. And, he was like, well, what are you into? And I was like, at that time I was into like the WWE wrestling and, serial killers. And he was like, well, get you some books on serial killers, So then that's when I got my first book on like Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy and the hillside strangler. And then, that really interested me in the whole, what makes a person snap, what makes their mind go crazy where they end up like that. Because I truly always thought that we start on the same playing field, and, kids are like sponges. They suck up everything around them. Right. And if your environment is bad or there's something off, you're taking in all these things, or it's just, maybe something wired wrong in your damn brain. I don't know. But at some point, it's like you don't care about somebody else's life, and you could do that. See, I couldn't do that. I can't hurt anybody, right? I just couldn't do it. It ain't in me. I'm more of a lover than, a psycho killer. But these people fascinate me in the fact that I think at some point in their life, they were a normal person, and they threw all that away to be a psycho killer. Now, even Brian Kohlberger in the Idaho 4 case, he was having these fantasies about hurting people at a young age. So was Ted Bundy, and I don't know if that's something with hormones and you're going through puberty and you have these chemical imbalances in your brain and something gets messed up, because it seems to be at an older age, people tend to be more psycho. But then again, I've seen kids as young as 6 years old commit heinous crimes. 8 years old, 11 years old. How do these kids get so bad so fast? I'm talking about kids that kill their parents or kill their brothers and sisters at 8 years old, 10 years old. They're like, to me, that's a baby, and that baby is already a psycho killer. Right? How does that shit happen so fast? And usually, let's just say they have mental health issues, they're young, but usually schizophrenia and stuff like that don't come on until you're older. Like, there ain't a whole ton of schizophrenic little kids. That's usually something that transpires later in life when it comes on. I don't know why that is. I ain't no doctor, but so what makes somebody the way that, say, a John Wayne Gacy or Ted Bundy or Richard Ramirez or Gary Goodridge or just all these people, Dwayne Williams, the Atlanta killer, he was killing young boys. What makes people's minds operate like that? Me, like, I can look, I try to explain what I think about people like Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, for prime example, I think he had like a separation issue. He didn't want to be left. He didn't want you to leave. If you stayed there with him, he was okay. But as soon as you tried to leave, he wanted your ass dead. Okay. Like, my buddy used to have a dog. You could go into his house and the dog had no problem with you. You tried to leave his house and the dog would try to bite the shit out of you. The dog didn't want you to leave. I don't know. I think that's a little bit of Jeffrey Dahmer. I think that's a little bit about his problem, is he didn't want to be left. And then because he was trying to make a damn zombie, right? So he was drilling into people's heads, pouring chemicals into their head. And what he wanted was somebody that would obey him, that he could control. And a lot of times while he was trying to do this, trying to create this person that's like a zombie, he killed people. I mean, still purposely. And then he, cooked them. And a lot of people think he ate people, right? He didn't really eat a lot of people. He ate regular food. But what he did do was he fried up a bicep of a person and tried it. Okay. So he did eat somebody. That is true. But he wasn't like daily sitting around with a leg in his mouth, chewing on a leg. Okay. He ate regular food and he tried, but they did find like some human organs and stuff in his refrigerator. But he wasn't just a full-blown cannibal. Okay. That wasn't really even his reason for killing. But he did admit that he fried up a bicep and it was chewy and he ate it. Okay. Now that is what you get Kuru from, eating people. There's like these tribes in the jungle, and over time they've been cannibals. They eat their dead. When people die, they basically cook you and eat you. So, but the problem is these people are dying with Kuru, right? Which is it's like anthrax or something, you know, it affects your brain. And when they're eating these people, they're getting it. Okay. So, and I don't know if you ever seen what kuru does. It makes people shake, like with the tremors and that's from being cannibals. So it's great. It's great. And still this stuff happens in the world we live in today. Okay. As we're speaking, that these tribes still eat their dead. It is the craziest thing. And it's like, and all of them are diseased up with this kuru. And so the more of this is don't eat people. If you eat people, you're gonna get mad cow disease in humans. All right, so let's get back to this video.
Sean Puffy Combs as ordering the hit on Tupac Shakur, $1 million hit, was never supposed to see the light of day.
Nancy, before there's a trial, when there's a trial, we have what's called opening statement. That's when the lawyer says he or she anticipates this is the evidence that's going to happen from their side. A proffer, back up a little bit, back up before trial. This is a document or a video or an oral statement that says this is.
Hug says you're friends with John in the band. I love Anthrax. Anthrax, the band. Point not, watch the beat. I'm in your face, I'm on your case. I love Anthrax, right? They were on Married with Children. Scott Ian, Joey Belladonna. And I got to hang out with Joey Belladonna. Nice guy, right? Really nice guy. Anthrax cool as shit. All right, the band, not the mad cow disease.
Is why we are here. This is what I anticipate that you guys will find, guys being plural for or male, female, doesn't matter. This is what I anticipate you're going to find. And this is what I'm telling you has happened. But you got to keep it quiet, because if somebody finds out, I'm toast.
Guys, now, in addition to all of the other issues closing in on Sean Puffy Combs, is he going to be charged in the murder of Tupac Shakur?
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough there, right? It's just Keffe D. Unless Keffe D can prove he paid him that money, which I heard on the street he did, but I heard he just gave it to him because them were the people that killed Pac. I didn't hear he had hired him to do it. I thought it was like a reward for doing it. Is how they, the streets made it out to sound like, yeah, Puffy gave him that money because they did what they did.
Now, the feds say he has never
Five-finger
been a
death
suspect. He is
punch.
not a suspect. Okay, I'll take that with a box of salt. Let's go back to how the whole thing started.
Tupac Shakur, along with Suge Knight and members of their entourage, which include members of Mob Piru, came to Vegas to attend the Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Members of the Southside Compton Crips, which included Davis, along with his nephew Orlando Anderson, were also in attendance at the same event. As both were leaving the fight, members of Death Row Records spotted Orlando Anderson near an elevator bank inside the MGM, and at that time they began to kick and punch him near that elevator bank. Following this incident, Tupac and Suge Knight both left the MGM to make their way to a post-fight party, which was to occur at a local nightclub. At the same time, word had spread amongst members of the Southside Compton Crips of what had occurred inside the MGM. That's when Dwayne Davis began to devise a plan to obtain a firearm and retaliate against Suge Knight and Mr. Shakur for what occurred inside the hotel against Mr. Anderson.
So, Robert Crispin, joining us formally with the Federal Task Force for the U.S. DOJ, now at Crispin Special Investigations, you're telling me, see, I don't buy this for 1 minute, that the whole hit on...
Somebody said P. Diddy diddled many men and women. Okay, well, I guess he, I had heard that about P. Diddy a long time ago. A comedian had came out and said that he was at P. Diddy's house and he had walked by a room and P. Diddy was spooning with some man with their shirts off at a party. So, I mean, and then you look at the whole Justin Bieber situation, like, these people that he's took advantage of and used along the way, like Bieber, they need to come out and like, do something about it, because if they don't stop it, he's going to continue to do these things. Right. And he's been messing with young boys and young girls, it seems like, allegedly, for quite some time. So, I mean, it seems like everybody in Hollywood and all these rich ass people are just sickos. Every last single one of them. Like, y'all can keep your damn money. You can keep your houses on the hills, overlooking the damn ocean, because y'all are weirdos. I mean, just completely, seems like the more money people get, the weirder they get. Like, I like to have a lot of money, but I don't want to have to, be messing with like kids and all these weird things they're doing in Hollywood, because I hear they won't even let you on a movie, like a real movie, unless they got something over your head. Like, they make you do things and shit. You know what I'm saying? So you can't tell, nobody tells. Next thing you know, you got people messing with Corey Feldman in the back of the movie trailers. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you know how we said something about Corey Feldman earlier? That's a prime example of it, right? Remember the Soda Pop Club? All them kids they were sending to that place for them parties, them teenage parties back in the day, and all them kids were getting the big M word done to them. And that's the main people in Hollywood that were doing that stuff. It's sick. It's terrible. Y'all can keep that shit. Rich people get rich and start doing weird shit.
Tupac Shakur was over a fight at the MGM elevator bank the night of the Tyson fight. It's a lot deeper than that.
Pee Wee Herman,
way back,
the
so
only
deep.
person that kept his hands to himself. Don't pick on Pee Wee. I used to love the Pee Wee movies. Take a picture to last longer, right? Yeah, don't mess with Pee Wee, right? Listen, here's the bad thing. They tried to destroy Pee Wee Herman, but here's the thing. Pee Wee Herman was at an adult movie theater, whacking, okay? Trigger warning. That's what people go to those theaters to do. It wasn't like he was at, a movie theater that shows regular movies. He was at a pornographic movie theater doing that, okay? People go there to do those things, and to take his show, right? Like, any person in this world, has done that type of thing at some point in their life. Now, being in public, but like I said, still at an adult theater that's made for people to do that weird stuff in, they destroyed his career behind that. And he had to make a bounce back. He did a good job making a bounce back. But, it's the powers that be that come down on you. I thought Pee Wee Herman really got a bad rap, because I was thinking, damn, they're going to shame this dude like that bad over something so stupid, right? What he does in his personal life doesn't affect, does he go out there and perform and do his job? So, like, I don't know. I guess people looked at it bad with him having a kid show. The dude's only damn human, I ain't suggesting people go out to these adult theaters and do that, but I'm sure he wasn't the only person in the theater probably doing that, okay?
I'm sure maybe that's where they just wanted to start it from.
Yeah, he had never been accused of messing with any kids or anything, never, in the history of Pee Wee Herman. And you got to remember, Pee Wee Herman, he didn't start off with kid shows. He came from Cheech and Chong. Okay, he was in the damn Cheech and Chong movies. Like, what makes you think he was the perfect kid person anyway? Just because his character was like that, they turned him into that. Pee Wee Herman started, was in Cheech and Chong and stuff. So he was the dude that sold seashells by the seashore. Y'all remember that when I got your money. Remember he took their money and he was in the crazy hospital for all you Cheech and Chong fans out there?
Deflect from all the other stuff that's been going on. I don't know. But if I can just run back to this.
Shit, he was one of the first people canceled was Pee Wee, right? Now we live in this cancel culture where people just be like, we'll cancel you, right? That's new age shit. I'm from the old school. You can't cancel nobody like that, right? But Pee Wee got canceled. I just think, some people, they did wrong back in the day. There's a couple people I know they did wrong. They did Pee Wee Herman wrong, and they did Mike Tyson wrong for sure. Okay. But It just is what it is.
Proffer letter real quick, which in the federal side, after you've been arrested, you do the 5K1, or before you've been arrested, you do the 5K1, which is cooperating with the government and going in and proffering what you know and what can you do to help the government's case accelerate and go further and identify more conspirators, i.e., obviously, he then became a police informant. I'm sure you're going to find out undercover calls were there. There were meetings out in New York. There were meetings all over the place. Meaning,
you're in my asshole. You grew up with Cheech and Chong. They were awesome
chance
movies.
Encounters at the government. Meaning, we follow you, Nancy, and you go to a gas station, and I send the informant in to get gas right next to you, and lo and behold, it's, hey, Nancy, wow, so funny to run into you. And the next thing you know, we start that conversation, or you start that conversation with the informant who's wearing a wire or a digital recorder, and randomly at some gas station.
Yeah, you know what, Robin Crispin, I think a lot of you, but where's this going? Could you wrap it up, please? You put it.
He said, "Can you wrap this shit up? You bore me, old man. Give me the goods. Break it down for me. You put me to sleep here, right?" Nancy's too honest for her good. She's like, could you come the hell on now, dude? You dragging this shit out.
I'm just saying, I'm sure that probably tipped the scale that night, and that got them upset. That's when they went to get the gun, and that's when they went and did what they did. Sure.
Okay, that I understand. Hey, let's see that video again. The whole thing is caught on video. Here is the brawl that breaks out at the elevator bank at the MGM Grand the night of the Tyson fight. Okay, check it out. And remember, Davis, along with nephew Orlando Anderson, are there.
It's blurred,
okay,
Nancy.
They're leaving the Tyson fight. Death Row Records spot Orlando Anderson, and they began to viciously attack him. Okay, after this attack caught on video, Davis gets a gun. Listen.
After Davis obtained a gun, he entered into a white Cadillac along with Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Orlando Anderson. As they were in the white Cadillac, Mr. Davis took the gun that he had obtained and provided it to the passengers in the rear. As they were driving west on Flamingo Road near Koval, they located the black BMW, which was driven by Suge Knight, and in the passenger seat was Tupac Shakur. And as they turned around, they pulled up near the passenger side of that vehicle and immediately began shooting at Mr. Knight and Mr. Shakur.
Shakur is hit 4 times in the chest. Suge Knight is grazed in the head by a bullet fragment. Tupac Shakur dies 6 days later.
Okay, so that's the response. Karen Stark joining me, a renowned TV and radio trauma expert. You can find her at karenstark.com. That's Karen.
Why they show a picture of Biggie and they wasn't talking about Biggie?
With a C, if you're looking for her. Karen, so a fight goes down. Okay.
Yes, 3 dot. Yes, see, I believe that they were a couple for a little bit. Okay, crazy as that sounds, like yeah, the dude has thing. I mean, I think the industry and people in the industry have known this for a long time. That's why there's so many people that don't mess with P. Diddy. You got to remember, he kicked off a lot of people like that. Usher, Justin Bieber. He always has these young. He wants to be a role model for these young kids. You got to worry about people like that just start taking in young people and like, oh, I'm going to help them with their career. But that ain't all you help them with.
The nephew gets beat up and beaten up.
I love you when
really
you call me Big Papa.
Badly. And instead of like most people would call police or 911.
Yeah, you didn't, Biggie was the man. You didn't hear about him messing with no kids or, none of that shit. You never heard him caught up in some weirdo scandal, sleeping with dudes and, and kids. And like, basically, it's almost what like, what's his name? Not Epstein. What? Harvey Weinstein. Remember Harvey Weinstein? He was promising movie parts for favors. And, I think P. Diddy falls under that case. Like, oh, yeah, you come live with me. You stay with me. Then I'm going to make you famous kind of thing, and he's promising them the future. And in turn, they're doing things. They're doing favors, sexual favors for this man. That is horrible. And his ass needs to be in jail. You know, if you're going to put Harvey Weinstein in jail for, you know, lying to women about movie parts and not giving them to him after he's had sex with them, then you need to put P. Diddy's ass right with, you know, in jail too. It's the same thing.
What do? Davis goes and gets a gun. They jump in the white Cadillac and they go looking for Shakur, and they find him. Now, explain to me that response, because I bet if you got beat up or your husband, Mark, got beaten up, you would not go get a gun, hop in a Cadillac, and try to chase the people down.
I don't know if I had a Cadillac.
What is this?
If I had a Cadillac.
Well, I'm not part of a gang, Nancy. So you're talking about a whole different culture where.
Oh, nah, you affiliated, woman. I can look and tell you right now. You might be part of the damn Latin Kings. Okay, you probably part of the Latin damn Kings right there. This lady's probably the run the gang. Okay, she's like, I ain't in a gang, Nancy. I don't know. That right there, that heart you wearing on your neck might be a gang symbol. I ain't sure.
They get angry. They've been angry. I really believe before this even happened. Because why did they beat him up? So this whole feud is going on. And their response to the fight is, I think I'm just going to go kill him, because they wanted to do that. They've been ordered to do that anyway. So they needed some kind of an excuse. That's why it's not the kind of thing where you say, oh, there's a fight. Let me call the police. They're going to handle this themselves.
That's why
So
I see.
here's the way it goes down.
Like the lady said, I believe it was more of a retaliation than a hit. Like if they hadn't have jumped on Orlando that night, Tupac may still be alive today. Okay, but they seen him with that necklace on that he had took from somebody, and they stomped a mud hole in his ass. And then, of course, outside they got a weapon. They got in a vehicle. They went to a club searching for him. He wasn't there. They were going to leave. And then as they were leaving, they drove past the BMW and just happened to see it because Tupac was hanging out the window talking to some girls in a car. And that gave them time to swoop up on them. They drove around because they had a car telling them with their security in it. They wasn't alone. And not only that, but what a lot of people don't know is there was another shootout that the security was shooting at the people and they were firing back at security. One car chased the Cadillac. Okay. And that was part of their entourage. And they exchanged gunfire going down the road. So that they just happened to see Tupac. If he would have been in the car and not hollering at those women, they wouldn't even have noticed him, they said. They said they only noticed because he was hanging out the car hollering at these two girls. So women get you killed every time, okay? Every time.
Colin joining us, host of The Outlier. The younger nephew of Keffe D, who is Dwayne Davis.
I thought Orlando was his nephew. Orlando Bloom. Anderson. Orlando Anderson.
Younger nephew is Orlando Davis. He's the one that gets
Anderson
beaten up. I mean, yes, thank you. He is the one that gets beaten up horribly, kicked in the gut. Let's see the video again. He's kicked. I'm surprised.
Yes, Orlando Anderson is the nephew of Keffe D. Okay. They handed the gun to the other guy. He wouldn't shoot. Orlando took the gun, shot him. They hid the gun at some Pyru's house. And then, of course, Orlando was killed in a confrontation with his friend over some crack money. That he had fronted the dude some drugs and he wanted the money. And the dude ended up shooting and killing Orlando Anderson. Okay. So he did that for Tupac. That's payback for Pac. All right.
He didn't get killed because he's being kicked viciously right there in the lobby of the MGM, for Pete's sake. And people are just milling around like nothing's happening, which amazes me if you have the good sense to run. But look at that. Look at that. So instead of calling 911 or police, what do? They grab guns and they take off. Okay, what happens next? Listen.
March 1997, the Notorious B.I.G. is in LA to promote his new album.
See, I told you, I was like, why did they show a picture of Biggie? I didn't know they were going to talk about Biggie. So I guess they're going to talk about him getting murdered at the Source Awards.
Life After Death. Biggie shoots a video, gives a radio interview, and presents a music award. Scheduled to fly to London, he cancels and stays in LA for an after party, accompanied by a Bad Boy Records entourage including D. Rock Butler, Lil Cease, Gene Deal, Tone Jacobs, Stevie J, and Sean Puffy Combs.
Dwayne Keffe D. Davis claims credit for Tupac's murder on BET and in his memoir. He says Puffy Combs wanted Knight and Tupac's heads after their diss track Hit 'Em Up. When Davis offers to carry out the hits, Combs agrees to pay him $1 million. According to Davis, Eric Zip Martin, a New York drug dealer, suggests they have the perfect opportunity to carry out Puffy's hit and even provides the gun. Davis, Anderson, Terrence Brown, and DeAndre Smith stake out the club where Shakur is performing. But Tupac's a no-show. And
See, I told you that Tupac never showed up to that club. They were waiting. Bri, $20 super sticker. Thank you. So, yeah, they had went to the club to get him, and he never showed up, and they were leaving, and that's when they just happened to stumble across him.
Crips abandoned the plan. Driving down the strip, they spot Knight and Tupac stopped in traffic. Brown flips a U-turn in their white Cadillac. Davis passes Anderson the gun, and Anderson leans over Smith to shoot Tupac.
That ain't right. That ain't right. Keffe D passed the gun to the other gang member, and he wouldn't shoot. I've heard Keffe D say this whole time. He wouldn't shoot. He refused to pull the trigger, and he was on the side that Tupac was on. Orlando Anderson was actually on the passenger side of the vehicle in the Cadillac. So when the man wouldn't when he wouldn't shoot Tupac, Orlando took the gun from him, hung over him, like over his lap, hung out the window and shot Tupac. Okay. That's the original story from Keffe D, that the guy he refused to shoot. And look, when everybody testified and they started talking, the guy that wouldn't shoot, he's the only person that didn't talk. He wouldn't talk. He wouldn't pull the trigger, and he wouldn't talk. All right. The rest of these people talked, told on everybody.
Okay, so bottom line, Orlando Anderson, the suspected shooter, who is Keffe D's nephew, is the trigger man, according to these newly obtained documents.
Dollar bill, y'all. Hip hop night on television.
As ordering the hit, the $1 million hit. Now, I'm going to bring in an expert, and you may wonder why this expert right now.
You could have brought in Dolly. Dolly's an expert, okay, on being an idiot.
Her name is Shannon Henry. She's the president and founder of SAS Go, Surviving Assault Standing Strong. It's a nonprofit mission to help get rid of abuse on women and trafficking.
What the hell does that have to do with P. Diddy? What the hell does that got to do with the death of Tupac Shakur? I mean, what the hell? You got an expert on something that ain't got nothing even to do with the story, Nancy. We got to have a talk, Nancy. We got to have another little sit down together.
You're hearing all of this about an alleged hit by Sean Puffy Combs. The feds say, oh, no, he's not a suspect. On Shakur. Like there's 20,000 people milling around in Vegas and nobody knows what happens. Fine. Are you surprised after you've heard about violence by Sean Puffy Combs on Cassie Ventura? This exclusive video of Cassie Ventura being viciously beaten by Sean Puffy Combs is from our friends at CNN.
Oh, he beats. I don't know if you guys have seen this video of Sean Puffy Combs beating on this woman. Oh my God, it is so brutal. I forgot all about this. When this came out right here. Oh my God. I don't know what made me forget this happened. It just, when I was talking about this stuff, I forgot all about him attacking this woman leaving the hotel room that night. This shit is brutal. It is like, maybe this was started the downfall of P. Diddy, Puffy Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever the hell you want to call this weirdo, abusive sleep with anything that moves ass dude. Okay.
Kicking her, beating her, and then him issuing that.
Like he soccer kicked her. I mean, literally soccer kicked this woman.
I don't even know what to call it. It's kind of more a PR statement as opposed to an apology, but there's no doubt he did it because
And
he
drug
issues
her.
an apology.
It's so difficult to reflect on the dark.
Oh Lord, there ain't no excuse for that shit. To punt kick a woman like that and to beat her in the head and drag her, and like, how do you explain that? Like, oh, you're gonna get up there and make a little video. Oh man, I'm sorry. I mean to do. You absolutely meant to do it, right? And you only ain't sorry. You just trying to save face and save your career type stuff.
Darkest times in your life, sometimes you got to do that.
Nah, you know, sometimes you never got to do that. I disagree. He said sometimes you got to do that. Hell nah, you don't. In the darkest times, you got to. Hell no, you don't. You gonna pay for everything you did. You know, you probably sat around for years and years thinking you was the king shit, and nobody was able to touch you because you so rich. But look, rich people, they touching you, right? And they're gonna take you down. Once people get on you like this, they're not gonna stop until you're completely destroyed. That's just the way it is. And he's done it to himself, you know. You do all these horrible things. You know, I say it all the time on this channel. What you do in the dark always comes to light. All right. P. Diddy. And you know, especially when you're doing horrible things in the dark. Them things are usually the things that come to light.
I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I made no excuses.
You're making excuses right now. You was in a dark place. That sounds like an excuse. You know, sometimes you got to do these things. That sounds like an excuse, right? And then you're going to sit there and say you don't make excuses. Bitch, you're making excuses right now.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
No, that is like your ass should be in prison. Not inexcusable. It should be prosecutable. Prosecutable is the word you're looking for. Your ass should be in prison for viciously assaulting a woman. Prison. I mean, felony assault. That ain't no just, you know, I got an argument with my woman in the heat of battle. I smacked her. I pimp slapped her. No, you were punching this bitch in the head, kicking her, stomping her. You even soccer kicked her. Okay. Like, I mean, look like some stuff off the damn, I don't know if y'all watch MMA, right? The UFC, but it looked like from the Pride days when you could soccer stomp somebody in the head. I mean, he's literally punt kicking this woman. Like, you ass should have been in prison, homie. Don't send your goons for me, P. Diddy. I like you. Okay. I got the shoulders. You know what I'm saying? I listened to damn, what was the other guy? Shine. Remember? He shot a woman in the face. Do y'all remember when P. Diddy shot the lady in the face? And he blamed it on Shine. And Shine went to prison for them years. Y'all remember that guy? What about Mace? Anybody remember Mace? Till my names go up in the lights. Remember Mace? Right? He did everybody dirty. He did all those people dirty. He didn't look out for none of his own people. And of course, your world, when you build something based on like that, where there's no loyalty, no real friendship, in the end, everybody is coming for you. You remember Mace? He turned into a preacher.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Then go lock yourself in prison. Okay. You got enough money. You can build your own prison. Build your own prison. Go put yourself in it if you want to take responsibility for what you did. Okay. Just build your own little prison and your own little compound and lock your damn self up, because that's where you need to be, you creepy. And then you can touch all the men you want.
So now these bombshell documents have emerged from some moldy old paper box somewhere. And now we know for sure Sean Puffy Combs is implicated in the murder of Tupac Shakur.
He ripped everybody off money. Okay. He ripped everybody off money. He did all his people dirty. Everybody that associated with him, people that even took charges for him. Right. The lady even said, she said, I looked over at Puffy. He pulled out a gun and shot me in the face. Shot her in the nose. She lived too. Shot the woman in the damn face and she lived. I don't got that kind of luck. You shoot me in the face, I'm dying. All right. But she lived, And she said that she was shot in the face by P. Diddy. And then, of course, they say, Shine was caught with a gun. He was the fall guy. He was the one that wanted the deal, hang out with Puffy. You do what I say. Something goes bad, you the one that's going to take the rap for it. And that's basically what happened,
Sure. Are you surprised? If so, why?
You believe Shine?
Not only am I not surprised, but the most important part is his victims aren't surprised, Nancy. This is 30 years ago. And if we walk through the history of Diddy through those years, we meet people like Kim Porter, who was abused by Diddy. We meet people like Cassie, Little Rod, all of these people that are in the wake.
Didn't J-Lo slip him a gun once? I'm not for sure who slipped him the gun, but he's had a few different altercations with guns and run-ins with people. And he plays, in the media that he's the nice guy. He's just a producer. No, he was a gang dude, just like everybody else, doing dirty shit just behind the scenes. And he was becoming a huge megastar as he was doing it. I mean, he made a lot of money off of music. Okay. He made a lot of money off of music, become a really powerful person. Usually you don't see powerful people fall like this. So I'm believing P. Diddy did something to somebody on the top. Okay. The top food chain. Diddy is up there too. I mean, he is way up there in the pyramid. All right. And, but somebody at the top of the pyramid, they didn't want no parts of him anymore. So he's done something to be outcasted like this. But for all his secrets to be coming out, he's done something to somebody even more powerful than he is. That's what I think. There's a reason for this.
Of devastation of what he's done. This is just corroborating evidence for who he is and what he's capable
Coming
of.
up. Come on, love.
Are you saying that? Because my experience in domestic violence, very often the perp doesn't attack anyone except the female victim, the love object.
Say
But
hey,
you're
say
saying
hey, say
you're not
hey.
surprised violence spills over in other areas of the perp's life. Explain that.
Right. And, we want to keep these things under control if we're an abuser. We want to manipulate only the person that is the object of our, I don't even want to call it affection, but our abuse. And
okay, lady, you got nothing to do with damn Tupac. Okay. You have nothing to do with the death of Tupac. You don't know nothing about Biggie Smalls. You probably ain't never listened to a hip hop album in your whole entire damn life. Okay. So this, I wanted to go over a little bit of this P. Diddy stuff because, the man it appears he's been a criminal for a lot of years. And with his power, he has gotten away with it. And I believe, like I said, that when powerful people fall, they fall at the hands of other powerful people. So I don't know what P. Diddy's been doing behind the scenes, but P. Diddy has made the wrong person mad. All right. This whole shit, this whole planet's only ran by a few people. You piss one of those people off and they coming for you, and everything you've ever did is going to come out. And like I said, he's done this so open for so many years. I'm surprised it's took this long. 30 years of being, basically a mob boss is what it is. It's organized crime. It's no different than the mob. When you got gangs, it's no different than the mob. They just a family full of gangsters, just like the mob. It's organized crime is what it is. And this man has been involved in organized crime for what, the last 30, 35 years? And I ain't even talking about on a small scale. I'm talking about a large scale. What a lot of people don't know is when a lot of these people come up through gangs, okay, I'm going to tell you this, Cardi B, y'all know that? Cardi B, y'all know that lady? Blood, all right? So when she comes up on the street and these Bloods and all these people are in these videos with her and she's repping that set, she owes them people, okay? She owes them. So a lot of her money goes to the gangs. Now these gangs take that money, they buy drugs with it, they get on the street with these drugs and they sell them. That's how their money. But these famous rappers are supplying the money for these street drugs that go to the gangs, because that's what they owe to the gangs for help bringing them up, protection. And you'll learn a lot about this in the whole Tekashi 6ix9ine case in the federal RICO indictment. Okay, so when you have organized crime, they don't have to prove you did it. They just have to prove that you were connected and you know crimes are being committed. They created the RICO Act to get rid of the mob. Okay, this is what crushed the mob, because then they didn't have to prove you did it. They just had to prove you were connected to people that committed organized crime. So when they hit Tekashi 6ix9ine, the rapper, with attempted murder, they fell under the RICO Act. There was a Shoddy, his manager, Mel murder. There was a bunch of people charged in this RICO, and all those people went to prison. The rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine didn't. But when he went up into court, he testified that Cardi B, Jim Jones are suppliers of drugs to gangs. And basically that's saying you are involved in organized crime. It's never good when your name comes out in like some federal court shit. Okay. And right off the rip, he named Cardi B and he named the rapper Jim Jones. So, and then they have Jim Jones's phone wiretapped, and there's a lot of crime organized. It's just basically organized crime. When you get a group of 5 or more people together and you're all committing crimes and you're doing it under the same umbrella, they have the RICO to take your ass down. All right. So that is what they think crushed the mob out. But so here's the thing, guys. So many people think the mob is gone. It is totally not gone. I hate to be the one to tell you, the mob is not gone at all. Not even close. It's just they do things a little bit different now. But you can believe organized crime exists across the board, right? It still exists. It's still there. The mob still runs certain parts of certain things like they always have. You know, your unions in New York, your casinos in Vegas, stuff in Boston, Atlantic City. The mob is alive and well. You do the wrong thing, piss the wrong person off, and your ass will go missing in this world. Just because we don't see, you know, let's bring down the mob from the feds, don't mean it ain't happening. Anywhere there's money, anywhere there's drugs, there's crime. All right. And somebody is dibbling and dabbling in that. Okay. Gambling, right? Prostitution. These are things where there is a supply, where there's a demand, there will always be a supply. So don't never try to rip off a casino, because your ass will still end up in the desert. That ain't changed. Right? Go do something stupid, rip off the wrong person, or go mess with the wrong people. There are some powerful people that will do some really bad things to you in this world. Like, you say Hillary Clinton 5 times, watch what happens. I'm kidding. I didn't even say it, Hillary. You're my favorite. You're my favorite. All right. I love you to death. Bill was awesome. Okay. He was the first black president. Bill was awesome, right? Look, but there's some people you don't mess with in this world. Your ass will vanish. Gone. Dust. Where'd he go? I don't know. You don't want to know too much, right? It's best just to be a big dum-dum like Dolly. Then you ain't got to worry about going missing, right? If you know too much about the bad people and who they're connected to and what they do, money, power runs everything. That's it. And people would do anything for that power. And I mean anything. I mean, like, take other people's lives to gain that power. Crush you at all costs. So when I hear they're like, you know, there's no mob, and I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. You're right. What, did everybody just retire simultaneously? No, they just changed the game. And it's a whole different game. So be careful out there. Just be careful out there, and damn, like, finally some type of justice for, you know, Tupac Shakur. Now that this is on and popping, let's get some justice for Biggie Smalls. I mean, they were basically brothers. You didn't have one without the other. The beef was Biggie and Tupac. All this happened over not just Tupac, but Biggie too. So you can't never tell a Tupac story without sharing Biggie Smalls. if you're going to find answers for one iconic superstar, Biggie was way bigger on the East Coast than Tupac ever could have been. Everybody on the East Coast loves Biggie Smalls. You see his funeral? I mean, he might not have been, the biggest thing on the West Side, but on this side of the country, Biggie Smalls was legitimately the man. What he said, he lived. He wasn't making no shit up. He lived that life. And the man was a poet. He had a crazy way of telling his stories. So, and of course they loved it. He loved it when they called him Big Papa, right? He loved that shit. But if you're going to get justice for Tupac, get justice for my man Biggie Smalls. All right. Biggie deserves it too. Rest in peace to Biggie and Tupac Shakur. Right. Both those people need justice. They deserve the answers. They brought a lot to our world. So they definitely left their mark, and they will be remembered for a lot longer than most of us. Maybe not me, because I'm going to blow up one day. Okay. I'm going to blow up. I mean, like physically, like poof, internal combustion, right? I don't, like Spinal Tap. I mean, just explode one day. Okay. Just explode. Or I'll stand on a ladder, and I told you I would reach the top, right? I told you I'd reach the top. You guys be good. I will see you in the morning. I'm going to go eat some cookies, watch a movie, go to bed. You guys have been great. Let me know what y'all think. Is Keffe D, if y'all been in this far, is he telling the truth? Did P. Diddy pay $1 million to have Tupac Shakur killed? Okay. Corey is only a few years older than you, Dolly. Corey, what? Feldman? Corey Haim? Corey Haim's dead, but Corey Feldman? Yeah, I know. We're about the same age. I mean, like I said, I grew up watching him on TV. He was about the same age as me when I was watching him. And I've followed Corey Feldman for a good while. Not like I don't watch him every day, but, maybe every year or so, I'll check in and see what his crazy ass is doing. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, you guys be good. I'll see you when I get my lazy ass up. We'll be talking true crime tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Peace.